Hello, and thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Deidre Zamonski Blake, and I'm a team member of Team Minutemen. Our team consists of Ross McDonald, a full stack developer responsible for most of our front to back end communications, the development of our UI, and some of the CSS. We also have Kate Locke, a front end developer responsible for our login, log out, or login, log out, and account registration functionality, as well as most of our CSS. I am a full stack developer and I'm responsible for most of our back end with some contributions to our front to back end communications, as well as UI development. The project we're presenting for you today is titled All Things Games. All Things Games is a website that gives users the ability to save games to a wish list. And when they do, the site will track the price of the game and notify the user when the price has changed. We built this site using a Spring initializer for the back end. We used many dependencies, including Spring Web, Lombok, Spring Dev, and our backend is written in Java. To parse the data coming from the external API that we chose to work with, titled Is There Any Deal? We used Java's Jackson JSON library as well. For the front end, we used React, and it's written in JavaScript, JSX, and CSS. When you arrive at the All Things Games web page, homepage, you see a list of 20 of the most popular games available on the market. This popularity ranking system is based on the most waitlisted games in the Is There Any Deal API. Our site is retrieving this data from their API, and it also makes a number of requests to that API to achieve its general functionality. These requests include, but are not limited to, the results generated from our search bar, any game art seen at any point in the site, and most frequently, the price tracking functionality. To go into that in a little more detail, when a user is logged in, once every minute, our internal API makes a request to the Is There Any Deal API and checks its many stores for the lowest offered price. If that price is different than the one displayed on our webpage, we update that displayed price and notify the user of the change. It's our internal API, not the front end, that makes these requests because we ran into a CORS error when attempting to make the requests from a browser. This restriction was placed on the Is There Any Deal API by the site admins for security reasons. Having CORS restrictions in place makes sites less vulnerable to malicious scripts and other security issues. To go around this restriction, we have our front end make user-triggered requests to our internal API. Our internal API then makes requests to the Is There Any Deal API to retrieve the data that the user wanted. This was quite fun to implement and was definitely a learning experience, but I believe running into that CORS error also taught us a very valuable lesson in the unpredictable nature of the work we do as developers. And there's nothing like a good learning experience to put some hair on your chest. So with that, I'll hand this off to Kate, our front-end developer, to have her discuss her contributions to the project. Take it away, Kate.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. As Deidre mentioned, my name is Kate, and for this project, I mainly worked on the front end, which also happens to be where my passion in developing lies. Today, I will be walking you through our account creation and login processes, as well as showcasing our application responsiveness. Let's first start with taking a look at our login and account creation pages. So you can see up top, we have a few links, one of which being the login. So go ahead and click that. Here on the login page, users are going to be prompted to enter their email address. And once successfully logged in, they will then be redirected automatically to our homepage. If the email is not yet stored in our H2 database, the GET request will not be successful and you will then remain here on the login page. So for example, when I enter test1@gmail.com and then either hit enter or click the login button, we'll stay right here on the login page because that is not yet a registered user or it's just a junk email. Before we go further and actually log into the website, we're going to take a look at the link below the login button, which says no account, sign up here. And that's going to take us over to our account login page. As of right now, users are only prompted to enter their email address in order to create an account. We do, however, intend to add password input at a later time before we would consider launching this website. So let's do test 22 at gmail.com. And then we'll click submit. Once you click the submit button, that post request to create a new user will be made, and we will then be redirected to the login page. So now that we're back at login, we can go ahead and use that test22 at Gmail and click login. Upon logging in, as you can see, we go back to the home page. We'll be redirected to the homepage where we can do things like search for games and access our user wish list. While we're here, though, I would like to showcase the responsiveness of our application. Thanks to implementing various CSS techniques such as relative font size units and media queries, users can have a seamless experience while using our application regardless of their device screen size. So if I go to kind of make that screen smaller and mess with it a little bit, you'll see that the number of columns for the games changes based on the window size. Smaller tablets and phones will have 2 to 3 columns, as opposed to most laptop or desktop screens having the original 5. Just as another kind of showcase of our responsiveness, we'll go to our About page, which just has photos and small bios of each of our team members if you would like to learn a little bit more about us. And again, if you adjust that screen size, no matter what device you're on, you're going to have a fully functional experience while still looking aesthetically pleasing. With that, I would like to pass things over to Ross so that he can tell you more about the other aspects of our application, like our search bar functionality and adding games to our wish list.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ross McDonald, and I predominantly worked on the front end of this application. The front end employs React, which allows us to update the content that the front end retrieves from the back end without reloading the entire web page. We can see on the home page that the front end has already communicated with the back end to fetch data from the top 20 most popular games. The front end then extracts key components from the response it receives and displays those values. Specifically, we are displaying the title and image of each of the top 20 results. One of the key features of our application is the wishlist functionality. When a user discovers a game they like, they can click the wishlist button associated with that game, which triggers a request to the backend to save that game's information and then display it inside the user page. If we click the wishlist button on a game we have already wishlisted, we will get a window alert explaining to us that the selected game has already been wishlisted. In addition to browsing popular games, we've given users the ability to search for specific games. Once the user has typed the game title they have in mind and press enter, a new request will be sent to the backend and returns the best matches for the search term on a separate page. For example, if we search for Kate's favorite game, Stardew Valley, we enter the name in the search bar, press enter, we will be redirected to the search results page. Here, results are listed that best match the search term. From this page, the user can add Stardew Valley to their wish list or click on it to view more details about the game. If we search for Deidre's favorite game, Sims, a similar process will occur. Type in the name in the search bar, and we'll repopulate the results on the search page with the new search term. And for Sims, we also have, of course, all of the DLC associated with The Sims 4, and you can add all of those to your wish list as well. If we revisit the game info page by clicking on The Sims 4, we'll get a little bit more detail about the selected game, including its genres. This gives the users a clear understanding of the game's content. For added convenience, if we revisit that search bar just one last time, and we search for something like Fallout, we can actually clear the search, simply by clicking off the search bar. This functionality helps users quickly reset their search input without needing to manually clear the text, making the search process more efficient. The user page can be accessed by selecting their email located in the navigation bar. Inside the user page, all wishlisted games are displayed, including the cheapest prices available, which helps our users to make the most informed purchasing decisions. Furthermore, users can remove games from their wish list by clicking the Remove button next to each game. This action sends a request to the backend to update the user's wish list and refreshes the displayed content accordingly through the use of React and state management. By implementing these front-end features, we've aimed to create an enjoyable user experience that allows users to effortlessly search for games and manage their wish lists in a way that is efficient and friendly. And the last thing I'd like to show off is if we go ahead and log out of the application, and then we log back into the application and revisit our user page, we can see that all of the games that we had wishlisted are still present inside our user page. That's going to conclude the tour for the front end, and I'm going to pass it back off to Deidre for closing remarks.
Thanks, Ross. We built this project because those of us in Team Minutemen, we are all gamers, and we wanted to work on something we all had an interest and passion for. We also wanted something that we thought could be of legitimate use, not only to ourselves, but anyone else who shared that same interest. So when Ross came up with the idea for a price tracker for video games, Kate and I thought that that fit really well with what we wanted to accomplish for our capstone project. In the future, we would love to make this website live and add a few new features like a fully built out game info page, an overhauled notification system, the ability to review games, and even a side-by-side comparison of each game to build a ranking system based on user review. This concludes the presentation of All Things Games. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for your time.